Hi everybody, it's your girl Jocelyn and I'm here to do my first tutorial on lip makeup. And first we're going to do the American flag. Let me show y'all a picture. So I'm putting on my lip. So first you need is some petroleum jelly. Any kind, the bootleg kind, doesn't matter. Second, you need some baby wipes, in case you mess up, any kind, 99¢. Then you need eyeshadow palette, but today we're going to use red, white, and blue. And this is the kind of blue we're going to use. This roll-on eyeshadow is about $3 at, what was it, Spencer's. And this eye palette I got for $3 at a store in the Village in New York City. Next you need is white liquid eyeliner. I just got this today. It was about $2. And on the other side is the pencil, but we're going to use the liquid side today. Next you need is 3 different types of brushes, all loose hair. You need a small, get that up close, a small, medium, and a large one. So we can get all them stripes and stars. And last but not least, we need some lip gloss, not too glossy, not too thick, nude preferably. And so we're gonna get started. First, you start with a clean sweep, nothing on your lips, just dry, not chapped, just dry, nothing. And you put on the lip gloss, not a lot, just a little to keep the eyeshadows in place. Make sure it's all over your lips so you can see it. Next, you take this roll-on, make sure it's rolling correctly. See, rolling nice electric blue, and you put it on the side. So we're gonna start this side, and you just roll it on. Gonna make it go over a little bit more. And you see it just rolls on. Get a little of that gloss off. Only gonna do it on the top. And you see, nice color, nice. Make sure it's even. Always have a handy dandy mirror because this webcam is kind of weird. So you make sure it looks good. You could apply more if you need more. Then you get to the eyeshadow. You see you have a wide variety of colors. We're going to use this red one right here. So you take the small brush, and you just put a lot. You just put a lot on the brush. Put a lot on the brush. You take it, and then you just draw a line. And you would do that. You do it in a dot motion. So going straight across. Then you take some more and you skip it and you keep going. It don't have to be exactly 13. Nobody's lips is that big, hopefully. And you continue on the bottom lip. to your red liking. And once you get it to your red liking, then you take either, if you can't find the white eyeliner, I know it's hard to find, you can use white eyeshadow. But since we have this eyeliner, we're going to do it with the eyeliner. And I know people is crazy, like, eyeliner on your lips, it's for your eyes. If it's good enough for your eyes, it's good enough for your lips. Your lips are stronger than your eye skin, so you can use it for that. So you take the liquid part, don't douse it, just enough, and then you go across, and you let it dry, and then you go and you can also, I'm going to go back over it with the eyeshadow so it looks smooth. Can't really talk that much, don't want it to get everywhere. You take the white, and you go over it. See?